What if I told you that a $200 billion food ingredient is quietly shrinking your brain, making you dumber, more distracted, and even more prone to depression? What if the very thing that's been marketed as heart-healthy for decades is actually hijacking your intelligence and potentially lowering your IQ? This isn't just a wild conspiracy. Scientists are discovering alarming evidence that a key ingredient found in almost every processed food today could be interfering with your brain's ability to function properly, and it's hiding in plain sight. The worst part? You probably ate it today without even realizing it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this ingredient is, how it got into our food supply, and most importantly, how to get it out of your diet before it's too late. To understand how we ended up consuming massive amounts of this brain-shrinking ingredient, we need to take a step back in time. Imagine this. It's the 1930s. A Polish farmer searching for a better life immigrates to Canada. He brings with him a plant, one that holds the potential for a unique oil, an oil unlike any other. But here's the catch. This oil wasn't meant for human consumption. Its purpose was purely industrial, intended to lubricate the gears and cogs of heavy machinery. Fast forward to the throes of World War II. The world is in chaos, and Canada, a vital cog in the Allied war machine, needs to keep its ships sailing, its tanks rolling, its planes flying. They need lubricants, and they need them fast. This seemingly insignificant plant brought over by an immigrant farmer suddenly takes center stage. Canada ramps up production of this industrial oil, its factories working overtime to extract every last drop from these unusual seeds. But then, peace. The war ends, and the world breathes a collective sigh of relief. But with peace comes a new problem. The demand for industrial lubricants plummets. Canada, once a powerhouse of production, is left with a surplus. Fields overflowing with these seed-producing plants and factories specifically designed to extract their peculiar oil. What were they to do? The answer, my friends, was a stroke of marketing genius or perhaps a cruel trick of fate, depending on how you look at it. They figured out a way to sell this industrial lubricant as cooking oil. That oil, my friends, was canola oil. But it wasn't just canola oil. Soon, a flood of other vegetable oils followed suit. Soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, all vying for a spot on your pantry shelf. The food industry had been transformed forever. But here's the catch. Unlike natural fats like butter or olive oil, which can be easily extracted, these industrial seed oils require a long and complex process to make them remotely edible. Think about it. It takes a staggering 70,000 seeds to produce just a single tablespoon of canola oil. The process itself is a chemical gauntlet. First, the seeds are subjected to crushing pressure and intense heat. But this initial assault only extracts a fraction of the oil. So, to squeeze out every last drop, manufacturers turn to chemical solvents like hexane. Let's take a trip back in time, not too far this time, just to 1865. Back then, the average person consumed 0 grams of vegetable oil per day. 0. Their diets were rich in natural fats from animals, nuts, and seeds, fats that humans had thrived on for millennia. Fast forward to today, and the average American gets around 720 calories per day from these oils alone. That's roughly the equivalent of drinking a small bottle of vegetable oil every single day. Now you might be thinking, so what? Fat is fat, right? Wrong. Here's where it gets disturbing. Your brain, that incredible organ responsible for your thoughts, emotions, memories, and everything that makes you, is about 60% fat. And the specific types of fats we eat directly affect our brain's structure and function. For 99% of human history, we consumed very little of a specific fat found in abundance in seed oils. Linoleic acid. This isn't some obscure scientific term, folks. This is the stuff that's quietly wreaking havoc in your body, especially your brain. But now, thanks to modern industrial processing and the rise of processed foods, our diets are flooded with it. We're consuming 20 times more linoleic acid than our ancestors, and the consequences may be devastating. Remember how I said your brain is 60% fat? Well, imagine building a house. You wouldn't build the foundation with flimsy, unstable materials, would you? Let's talk about intelligence, that thing that sets us apart from other animals, that allows us to solve complex problems, create art, and build civilizations. In 1979, researchers in Massachusetts noticed a disturbing trend. IQ scores, a measure of intelligence, were dropping. Kids weren't just scoring a few points lower, the decline was significant enough to raise alarm bells. But it wasn't just their intelligence that was concerning. Kids were becoming more distractible, impulsive, and easily frustrated. They were having trouble focusing in school, following instructions, and controlling their emotions. Initially, scientists suspected lead poisoning from gasoline, which made sense. Leaded gasoline had been polluting the air for decades, and lead is a known neurotoxin, meaning it's poisonous to the brain. When leaded gas was phased out in 1973, IQ scores started to climb again. Just as researchers breathed a sigh of relief, thinking they had averted a cognitive crisis, something strange happened. By 2018, researchers in Norway noticed a new downward trend. IQ scores were declining again, not just in the United States but in Denmark, Britain, France, the Netherlands, Finland, and Estonia. This was a global phenomenon, and it was happening at an alarming rate. This time, lead poisoning wasn't to blame. Leaded gasoline was a thing of the past. So what changed? One major shift during this time was the explosion of seed oils in the global food supply. As these cheap, highly processed oils infiltrated kitchens around the world, they displaced traditional fats like butter, lard, and tallow. And with that displacement came an unprecedented surge in linoleic acid consumption. To understand how seed oils might be affecting our intelligence, we need to talk about another fat, one that's crucial for brain health, DHA, or docosahexaenoic acid. DHA is like the VIP of brain fats. It's found in high concentrations in the brain, especially in the membranes of neurons, those tiny messengers that transmit information throughout your brain. This isn't just some random fat hanging out in your head. DHA is critical for cognitive function, memory, and even mood regulation. It's like the lubricant that keeps your brain running smoothly, allowing you to think clearly, remember important information, and maintain emotional balance. And here's the kicker. Our bodies don't make much DHA on their own. We have to get it from our diet. Throughout human history, we obtained DHA from nutrient-dense foods like seafood, organ meats, and animal fats. These foods were staples in our ancestors' diets, providing their brains with the building blocks they needed to thrive. But as we've shifted away from these traditional foods, embracing a more modern diet dominated by processed foods and vegetable oils, our DHA levels have plummeted. It's like we've traded in a Ferrari for a beat-up old clunker. Even worse, linoleic acid, that abundant fat found in seed oils, competes with DHA for space in our brain cells. Remember that analogy about building a house? Well, imagine trying to build a sturdy foundation with a mix of concrete and jelly. The jelly might be easier to work with in the short term, but in the long run it's going to weaken the entire structure. That's essentially what linoleic acid does to your brain. It competes with DHA for absorption and incorporation into cell membranes, weakening the structural integrity of your brain cells and hindering their ability to function properly. Let's travel across the globe for a moment to a country known for its technological advancements, cultural richness, and remarkably high average IQ, Japan. Japan boasts the highest average IQ in the world, with an average score of 106. The United States, on the other hand, lags behind with an average of 97. Now, I'm not suggesting that IQ is the only measure of intelligence or that one country is inherently smarter than another. Intelligence is a complex trait influenced by a multitude of factors. However, this difference in average IQ scores is significant and begs the question, what are the Japanese doing differently? While there are undoubtedly many factors at play, one stark difference lies in their diets. The traditional Japanese diet is a stark contrast to the standard American diet. It's rich in DHA from fish and seafood, which are staples in their culinary culture. Sushi, anyone? They consume seaweed, a natural source of brain-boosting nutrients, and incorporate fermented foods like miso, which promote gut health, which is intricately linked to brain health. If you found this video eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with your friends and family. It could literally change their health and intelligence. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe for more eye-opening content, and let me know in the comments below. Did you know about the dangers of seed oils before watching this? What are you doing to avoid them? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.